This is the City Council meeting, which will be getting started here shortly. So at 5 p.m., they're going to go over the agenda. And then after that, at 5:30, the meeting will transpire. So we're going to go ahead and get set up here. This is the last opportunity for public comment in regards to the budget. Hopefully, many of you have received the email and are ready to get involved. That is my hope. Now, I don't know if they're going to air the budget piece. So I started this 30 minutes early because if you look at the website, let me bring this up so people can see here. If you look at the website, it says here, the next City Council meeting, hybrid, will be held on Wednesday, 16, 2022, beginning with a briefing of the agenda at 5 p.m. in the Council Conference Room 603, followed by the council meeting at 5:30 in the first floor meeting chambers. So there is a chance that the beginning of this is not advertised. If it is not, I will not kill the stream. I will just let the stream go until 5:30, but I do want to make sure that people are able to come in. Some things to note: if you are not going to provide public comment, then stay here with us here on the network. But if you are, then go ahead into the Zoom here, and that is in the description for the show, so you can go ahead and grab that link. And I will go ahead and paste it here too, and you can make your public comment. Now, another thing I can do, let me go ahead and unshare this for a minute while I pull that up. We met last night at 6 p.m. Those of us working, those who were available to work on the avocation for the bathrooms downtown. And we've come up with some talking points. So I'll go ahead and put those on the screen. And hopefully this will be helpful for folks. All right. So these are the things that we are advocating for, right? City Council earmarked $10,000 for porta potties, 2 ADA porta potties. Specifically, we would like to see them make that purchase of the porta potties. We would like to see them determine the location of the porta potties, the sidewalk strip, or taking up one street parking, on-street parking spot, if you will. Now, I spoke with Councilman Councilman Coughlin earlier today, and he said that he was having a conversation with the fire department. Okay, that's good. And that is still to be determined whether or not the fire station can be a location for folks to use the restroom or for the porta potties to be placed. If that's the case, that's fantastic, right? We need to install a needle receptacle inside the bathrooms so people can do, those that are using needles can dispose of them. We need to have the porta potties in use no later than December 15th, right? It's already tragically cold. Tomorrow's temperature is scheduled to be 30 degrees, and I believe 29 the day after that. We need to fund these porta potties at least through March 31st, which is the time that the severe weather shelters are activated during the severe weather. But we definitely want to push beyond that. And then also we want the DE&I person to also address the unhoused population and their needs, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. So those things, we believe, are part of it. All right. Some of the midterm goals that are important to us: continue to work on uh, and advocate for services, commitment to clear obstacles, city council participation with the pancake crew, and a commitment to explore solutions for affordable housing, job training, federal requirement advocacy on policy, etc. Some of the long-term goals that we talked about: come up with the amount that they will contribute to unhoused issues, and a commitment to solutions for unaffordable housing prices, regulations, and such. The irony of the long-term goals is, during the uh, Kitsap Housing and Homeless Coalition today, we had some people on to actually talk about that. So thought that was interesting with the timing of it. So yeah, that's kind of where we stand here. All right. Boswell, since you noticed that, you design a sheet. Okay, good, good. I should now forward it. Oh, awesome. Bill said she would. All right. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So that's good news there. All right. So, like I said, city council meeting will start in about 25 minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this up so you can have the talking points. Go ahead and write those down. I guess I could probably put those in the chat too. That might be helpful for folks, right? Let me get back over there. Do, 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 do. Oh man, the last 2 days have been very busy days for me. All right, so that's what we're looking at there. Let me go ahead and, you know what? I'll put this in the captions here. I'll put it in a ticker. Let's see if that's helpful. Okay. All right. So again, we'll get started at 5:30. Council starts at 5:30. Maybe a little background music. All right. We should have about 4 minutes before city council meeting starts. Again, public comment. This is the last opportunity to make public comment for the budget. So this is an important one, y'all. As you can see there, we have been advocating for restrooms down on ML King. And again, whatever your concerns are, I encourage you to make public comment. Doesn't matter if it's for a restroom, doesn't matter if it's for or against, right? Make your voice heard. I think the two major issues from the different groups that I am a part of is advocating for bathrooms for the unhoused down on ML King, and then also DEI position to be established in the office of the mayor, diversity, equity, and inclusion, to look at things through a racial equity lens. And one of the major concerns is that the mayor has not been conferring with the community in regards to what we want in that position, what we want that position to do, what that job description looks like. And so that is a concern. Those are the two big issues. Some other issues, definitely healthcare here in this county or in the city, right? Um, we have to go out to Silverdale for services, and right now that hospital out there is has got quite a few issues. That's a huge concern for a lot of us. And then housing. Housing here is not affordable. If you take a look back, and you'll see soon here when those results are published here for the community needs assessment, transportation was really high up there. And that's one of the reasons why G2 exists, is to provide transportation to people in the city and in this county. And so that's really important. Matthew, welcome. I hope that you will make public comment this evening, make your voice heard, because they need to hear it. They need to hear it. But we need affordable housing here, and not affordable based on what the federal guidelines say is affordable, but actually affordable for the people that live here. Because what exists is not that. So this should be launching here in about 1 minute. I thank everyone for joining us. More people are coming in. We are broadcasting on 2 YouTube channels, 3 Facebook channels, and Twitch currently. The link is in the chat and also in the description. If you want to make public comment, definitely mute this and click into the Zoom on the city council side so you can make your public comment. And then if you want, jump back on over here. Give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. This is the Conduit, here to make sure that you are in the know. All right, it is 5:30. They should be firing this thing up.
Recording in progress.
Audio should be online here shortly. We still have no audio. That's on their side there. That's not on our side. his microphone is muted. Hopefully they can fix that. We have no way to let them know. This is the same thing that happened 2 weeks ago. So this is quite frustrating. Hopefully they will.
And these
There
are
we go.
these are actual fish barrier dams that are preventing salmon from spawning. And so we scored so well that we were one of the few recipients of several $1 million in grant money that was available. And so we came away with a low interest loan of $2 million to remove those dams and to be able to restore that stream back to its full potential. This is years in the making and in partnership with the Washington State Department of Transportation. And you can see down below, it completes more than 3 miles of stream, and additional square footage will be accessible by fish for an in-stream spawning and habitat. Next slide, please. So the sidewalk trip hazard repair program. So this, I just wanted to share with you that the study was conducted in 2017, and it was to infrastructure management services analysis. And this, what it did is it took every sidewalk in our city and gave it a ranked score, and either for full restoration, as you are well aware, or in this case, for trip hazard corrections and improvements. So the budget, which you've already approved, is, and you're getting ready to approve. Of course, I'm going to say, hopefully I'm optimistic, but it's about $200,000.
That is on their end there.
All right, thanks, Dave. And so about 200,000 creates 800,000 or 800 new pieces of sidewalk that are now passable and a little more friendly to our pedestrians. So that concludes my report tonight, Council.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, next we will go to the consent agenda.
Thank you, President Goodnow. For approval on the consent agenda are the following items. A, claims and check register. 1, check numbers 400545 through 400719, and electronic fund transfers V36260 through V36367, in the grand total amount of $2,996,225.25. 2, regular payroll for pay period ending October 31st, 2022, in the amount of $1,053,124.04. 3, regular payroll for avoided and reissued payment for pay period ending October 31st, 2022, in the amount of $2,575.04. 4, regular payroll payouts for pay period ending October 31st, 2022, in the amount of $4,949.32. B, minutes of meeting November 2nd, 2022. C, minutes of study session November 9th, 2022. D, professional services agreement with Parametrics, Inc. for stormwater management planning assistance. E, interlocal agreement with Special Weapons and Tactics Team. F, community project funding grant agreement with U.S. Housing and Urban Development for the Quincy Square project. G, confirm appointment of Gregory Dawson to the Bremerton Parks and Recreation Commission. H, 2023 Local and Community Projects Program Grant Agreement with the Washington State Department of Commerce for the Kiwanis Park Playground Accessibility Upgrade Project. I, interlocal agreement with the Kitsap County Prosecuting Attorney for prosecution services. J, reclass vacant position, 0.5 Rule 9 position to a 0.5 clerical support position. And K, interlocal cooperation agreement with Kitsap County for transfer of Rocky Point Water District funds. This concludes the reading of the consent agenda.
Thank you. Does any member of the public wish to comment on any one of these items? All right, seeing none, we will go to the council for a motion. Councilmember Denning,
Thank you, Council President. Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Vice President Chamberlain.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I call for the question.
Councilmember Chamberlain,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Coughlin,
Yes.
Dennehy,
Yes.
Mochler,
Yes.
Younger,
Yes.
Goodnow.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, up next is public recognition. As noted on the agenda, public recognition provides an opportunity for attendees to address the council on any city-related item that is not already listed on tonight's agenda. You may line up at the podium, or if participating by Zoom, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. There will be a timer on the screen to let you know when your 3 minutes has been reached. We ask that you state your name for use in the record, and again, limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. With that, I open public recognition.
Hi, Jane Rebelowski, 4th District. I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware here of the wonderful work Bailey Tupai and his family are doing. And down at Island Hut and God's Broken Home University, they're going to be giving away Thanksgiving baskets next week, first come, first serve. They're still looking for turkey donations, so anybody on council or in the chambers would like to go buy a turkey and drop it off to Bailey, it would be accepted gratefully. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else for public recognition? Zoom, is somebody on Zoom? Yes. Janelle Holt.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Hi, yes, I just wanted to make address to the board regarding budget and ask for a few commitments for goals, both immediate, short-term, and long-term regarding the unaffordable housing. I know previously there was $10,000 that was committed to be allocated for ADA porta potties, 2 of those. And so we are just asking that you would still uphold that commitment for the request of that and to determine.
Point of order. Actually, we have to have you hold this comment because it is about tonight's items. This time is for items that are not going to be discussed tonight. So if you can just hold on to your comments, we'll get there fairly quickly.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry I didn't catch it sooner. All right, is there anyone else for public recognition this evening? Again, this is for items that are not on tonight's agenda. All right, well, seeing none, I now close public recognition and we move on to the public hearing.
Public hearing, item 6A, final public hearing on ordinance number 5464, adopting the fiscal year 2023 City of Bremerton budget. Presenter is budget analyst Karen Weifel.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor, and public. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna share screen.
Yeah, there's a little bit of an echo.
We have a bit of an echo coming through.
You, okay, so I just shared screen. Hopefully everyone can see that. Does it sound okay?
Yeah, just we'll keep working on it on our end, but you can go ahead and get started.
Okay. All right, tonight's presentation will include the second public hearing on the 2023 proposed budget. The first was held on Wednesday, November 2nd, and included revenue sources as well. The proposed 2023 budget was filed with the city clerk and available for reviewing beginning October 19th. We have conducted 3 budget workshops that were open to the public to view. The first was October 24th and included budget overview and governmental funds. The second was October 25th and included public works and utility funds. The last was October 27th and included council questions, deliberations, and adjustments. Summary of the citywide budget includes a revenue budget of $148 million, expenditure budget of $164 million, with an ending fund balance of $58 million. General fund includes a beginning fund balance of $16.6 million, revenues of $51.5 million, and expenditures of $57.9 million, with projecting an ending fund balance of $10.3 million, which is approximately 17.8 ending fund balance for the general fund. This is equivalent to about 60 days reserve or 17%, which is the national best practice. Per city policy, the minimum fund balance is 8.5%. This pie chart shows the citywide revenue sources by percentage of dollars. Charges for services is remaining the largest revenue category at 40% or $59 million. Taxes are the second largest revenue source at $45 million or 30%. Transfers and other is at 20% or $29 million. Intergovernmental is at $12 million or 8%. Licenses and permits at $1.9 million. Fines and forfeits at $1.5 million. Both are at 1% each. This pie chart shows the percentages and dollars of citywide expenditures by fund. Enterprise funds are the largest at $68 million or 41%. And consist of certain fee-based and rate-based business activities. General fund, which is the city's primary operating fund, includes some departments such as fire, police, council. It is the second largest at $58 million or 35%. Capital improvement funds account for major construction or capital assets and are just under $17 million or 10%. Internal services are $10 million or 6% and include goods and services provided internally to city operations. Special revenue includes special revenue sources that are restricted or committed and are at 6%. Debt service is at 1%. This shows the city's American Rescue Plan Act fund allocation, and it is fully funded through 2023. The programs funded are listed here. The city has over $2.6 million allocated in the 2023 proposed budget for affordable housing to assist Bremerton citizens. And some of the programs are listed here. This proposed budget authorizes 402.37 full-time equivalent employees and includes total personnel costs of just over $56 million. Summary of the proposed staffing changes are listed here. In total, there are 10 new position adds, with seasonal positions reduced. The net position adds total just over 7. There is a new position in courts, a new position in information technology, a new position for the diversity, equity, and inclusion manager, a new position in parks with a reduction in seasonal staff. There is a new position in finance for utility billing, 2 new positions in engineering, 2 position changes in forestry that have 0 impact on staffing levels, 2 new positions in stormwater with a reduction in seasonal staff, and 1 new position in streets with a reduction in seasonal staff. Fiscal year 2023 proposed budget recap for the general fund. New programs or funding requests for the general fund total $1 million. New positions were just previously discussed on the previous slide, so I'm not going to go into them, but they are listed on this slide. And there's 12,000 in the city attorney and HR for a salary survey, software and fee increases, 19,000 in council for additional REACT trainings and professional services for public restrooms, 343,000 in courts, supplies and services, all grant funded, 2,000 in finance for salary surveys, 156,000 in the mayor's budget, 53,000 in parks, 437,000 in public works, engineering, with general fund costs of 71,000 total. Public Works also has a green solar energy study and an EV charging station and facilities totaling 45,000. With all these new requests, the general fund has an estimated ending fund balance of 10.3 million or 17.8% of total expenditures. Fiscal year 2023 proposed new programs recap for all funds excluding the general fund. Again, new positions I'm not going to go into here, but they are listed on the slide. Enterprise funds has 353,000 and includes a vehicle for stormwater. There's an EV charging station funded by all three utility funds. There's 15,000 in general government capital improvement fund for an EV charging station. 747,000 in internal service funds for fleet vehicles, and information technology includes PC replacements and infrastructure upgrades. Parking fund has $211,000 for one vehicle, lighting and security upgrades, and there's 46,000 in street fund for staffing. This table here is from the dashboard, and the overall net change on our utility bill reflects just over 5% increase in 2023. For enterprise funds, the estimated average monthly total is $122.35. For low-income senior and disabled citizens who may receive a 40.85% discount, the average monthly total is 72.37 cents. Again, this assumes the 3.75 rate increase for water and wastewater and 13% rate increase for stormwater. In this table here is the utility rate comparison to neighboring jurisdictions. And as the graph shows here, our rates remain below the 2022 compared jurisdictions. So with that, that concludes my presentation. I will stop sharing and turn it back over to Council President Goodnow. Thank you.
All right, the purpose of this public hearing is to accept public comment, and action will be taken tonight by council. The public hearing is open. Does any member of the public wish to comment on this item? Again, you can line up down the center aisle, and if you're on Zoom, you can raise your hand. We'll start here in the council chambers.
Thank you. Craig Patty, President of the Bremerton Firefighters Union. I want to take this opportunity to thank council, Mayor Wheeler, department directors, as well as especially Fire Chief McGanny for the work that went into the 2023 budget. As a city employee, it was refreshing to see a council that it seems to be free of personal and ideological agendas. Going back to the debate we all watched about the Gold Mountain debt, that's how government's supposed to work, civil discourse. So thank you for that. I only speak for the firefighters, but I think it's safe to say every city employee shows up to work every day to do their best to provide excellent service to the citizens of Bremerton. And the old adage of you show me your budget, I'll show you your values is reflective of that. We have a budget that appears to be pretty responsible in staving off a potential, but as I just want to maybe remind, not that you need it, but this city is changing. It's growing, it's evolving. The service demands are also increasing. And I think we need to keep our eye on that. It's a whole lot harder to make up as opposed to trying to be proactive and be on top of these changes. Every city department is seeing service increases, new demands, and that's only going to continue. So thank you for your work. It's not easy. This is a complex budget. In some of the public comments in the past, I think don't necessarily maybe appreciate that as much as they should. So on behalf of the firefighters, thank you. We look forward to working with you in the future to ensure that the citizens are well served. So thank you.
Thank you.
Jane Rebelowski. One thing that I was pretty concerned about, a couple of things. It says that you're anticipating $3 million in REIT money, and last year only 2 million. And we all know that the housing market is pretty much crashed. So I'm not sure if you can depend on getting that much more money in real estate excise taxes for this year. I'm thrilled that we finally have in the budget some temporary bathroom facilities downtown. It's been needed for years, so it's great that we're finally getting that. Another thing I'm disappointed, and maybe I didn't find it in here, but the first budget discussion that you had, it was difficult to hear on the public side, but there was some information given about taxes that were not able to be collected. And I can't find anywhere in here where we're noting taxes that we're exempting. Last year it was 852,000. And this year or 2023, it'll be at least double that, if not more. And that not only provides money for direct city services, but our libraries, our schools. And I think if we're going to do a fair budget with it being open to everybody, you should talk about the taxes that you're exempting from new development. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the chamber for public comment? All right, do we have, let's see, Janelle Hulst. Now is your time. Thank you for being patient with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. So I was saying previously that there's some immediate things that we're hoping to bring to the attention and request and within the budget, but also looking forward to. So it's a little bit in addition to the budget. So I hope that this is appropriate time to present these. But the $10,000 that we're committed to having the 2 ADA porta potties, but also to wondering, to have that funded at least through March 31st, but if expenses are beyond that, at that time, that if April going forward, if that could be something that could have funding to keep the bathrooms or porta potties available. And the DE&I person that is getting the new position, if this is something, responsibility for dealing with the unhoused and the unaffordable housing is something that could be a part of their role, as that is a huge problem that we have right now and crisis that we're facing with the growing unhoused as well as the unaffordable housing crisis that we're all facing. And so for also short-term goals, we're hoping that we could have a commitment to explore solutions and to be openly working on that, to also find a long-term goal. And one of those solutions would be a commitment to have the Bremerton City.Council work with Kitsap County, as well as the Department of Community Development and state legislators to open up pathways to reduce regulations and permitting processes for affordable housing projects, as well as homeless, the unhoused projects. And so we have some things that we're looking at as a group. I don't really want to give us a particular name, but we kind of have been dubbing ourselves the pancake crew. But we would just like to have a commitment from the Bremerton City Council to look at long-term solutions and as well as short-term solutions. And I believe that the short-term solution would be a commitment to clearing the pathways for permitting and regulations, so that way we don't get hung up in the process for permitting, as well as prohibited because of regulations when it comes time for being able to set up for locations for tiny homes or affordable housing project builds. And so that is pretty much what I just wanted to present today, and to ask for your consideration and commitment on those things. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think there's another Zoom participants. Marwin Cameron. You can go ahead.
Good evening, Council. Good evening, Mayor. I am Marwan Cameron. Thank you all for allowing me to speak this evening. I have three things that I wanted to talk about first. I did want to thank the council for their advocation to earmark some money for the bathrooms downtown. As Jane spoke earlier, this is well overdue, and it's good to see that we have some political capital to get this actually moving. And so that's fantastic. I just want to lay it out in some steps. We're hoping to see, one, the purchase of the 2 ADA porta potties; two, to determine the location of those porta potties; three, installation of a needle receptacle inside those bathrooms; four, have the porta potties installed no later than December 15th; five, as Janelle was saying, funded at least through the time of the severe weather shelters operation; and then six, making sure that that DE&I person, that position, is also going to address those issues with that population. That is tremendously important. The midterm goals are, we definitely want to have communication and collaboration with City Council to continue these efforts and continue to support the unhoused downtown and everywhere in our city. Another thing that I want to talk about is, I noticed that the DE&I position is up for approval. And if that is going to go forward, then what I would like to see is the mayor work with Kitsap Public Health and get the description of the duties for that position there, and to go to the community and work with the community and take the community's recommendation from that point forward. I believe that's what he said that was the process. So I would like to take him at his word in that, but I would like to see that be followed through on. Lastly, KCR and United Way and several others have initiated the community needs assessment throughout the county. And last night there was a panel, and there were a lot of children there, and they talked about bullying. I don't know if you're aware of what happened with our Bremerton High School girls volleyball team out at North Mason High School, but this was an issue. Although my daughter is in the CK school district, she is probably going to participate in sports in North Mason at some point in time. I need to ensure that my child and all children are safe as they are competing and being children and not having to deal with these issues. So I would like the city to definitely look into that also. Again, I look forward to continuing to work with you and partner with you. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Is there anybody else online? Else in the chamber? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. We will now go to the council for a motion. Councilmember Dennehy.
Thank you, Council President. I move to pass ordinance number 5464 to approve and adopt the City of Bremerton budget for fiscal year 2023 and appropriating the amounts set forth in each fund in accordance with RCW 35.33.075.
Councilmember Coughlin.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. We are open for discussion. Councilmember Dennehy, if you'd like to go.
Sure, I'll just say something quickly. I want to commend my fellow council members, the department directors, and the mayor in a very collaborative budget season. And as noted by firefighter, I believe Craig Patty is his name. a very civil discourse that was based in what is best for this community. So I believe that this budget reflects our values in a very good way, and I'm very proud of it. Congratulations.
Councilmember Coughlin.
Well, thank you, Council President. Just addressing one of the public comments real quick on the public restroom. I just want to clarify, just so there's no misunderstandings down the road. The proposal that I brought forth after talking to the Grow Together group was estimating about $6K for a single ADU porta potty downtown. We rounded it up to 10. Right now, it's just getting it set aside in the budget. And we'll want to make sure, at least I personally want to make sure that's in there, so we have the funds available. Those funds would be for 2023. So, and I'm looking at Director Riley to not along with me that they would not be available until January. But certainly the conversations can start now. And I believe, Council President, our kind of consensus was for the Public Safety Committee to start those discussions, if I remember correct. Yes. Okay. Perfect. But anyway, it's great to get that in the budget right now. Thanks, folks, for working with that. Lots of decisions to be made, but good to have the funds. And I'll just echo Councilmember Dennehy on thank you to all the department heads, the mayor, citizens for contributing to this budget. Again, I think it's a pretty solid one. So thank you all.
All right, any other comments or questions? Councilmember Fry.
I too would like to thank staff and especially for responses so quickly to some of our questions, needs for clarification. I know that some will be pleased with this and some will be disappointed that we weren't able to do more in certain areas. And that doesn't mean there wasn't a will to do it. I think affordable housing, we're now seeing figures and statistics only on affordable housing, segmenting that out to really help us focus on what we're currently doing and what we hope to do in the future. And I'd also say to Mr. Patty, that time will come when we're able to actually support things before the need is critical. And so thank you all very much for your work on this. I'm very pleased with this budget.
Okay. Vice President Chamberlain.
Thank you, President Goodnow. So just for, there's so many junior members up here, you know, just for clarification, we just kind of mentioned this very quickly. We just discussed it very quickly up in the briefing upstairs, but should we choose to, seek an amendment, Director Riley, can you discuss just briefly how we go about doing that? Because this isn't the end all of the budgets. We're going to make changes as the year goes on.
Okay, so to clarify your question, an amendment this evening or in the future?
No, in the future after we approve.
Yes. So typically we have amendments that happen throughout after January 1st. There's amendments that come forward, things that were unexpected, changes to the budget. Those come throughout the year and then we actually ratify those and during mid-year in June. So yeah, there could be changes, adjustments, one-time money come in, one-time money spent that the staff will bring forward, or council can bring forward.
So for instance, I'm just using this as a for instance, and it's not about puppies, but it's about the bathrooms and so on. But let's say we have a need for more money that's needed for a good bathroom facility than we would come next year during a certain period of time. Let's say we have some other new things that come out of the retreat that we want to have done. When it comes to new programs or new allocations, is that something that's allowable in the upcoming budget?
Allowable, yes, but I will say we need to find a source of funding for that. The presented budget is balanced, so we need to see what we'd cut or what we'd amend, or if there's additional revenue to fund the proposed program.
And it is allowable to increase line items. We just have to figure out where we're going to cut them from or pull from. Okay,
correct.
Thank you. That's all. This has been a difficult process for all of us, but I feel like it was. There was a lot of teaching that Director Riley did and a lot of resources that, that our legal team that provided for us during this process too. And huge thanks to y'all for that and to our staff for keeping us in line. So, thank you.
All right, anyone else for comment, question? All right, actually, yeah, on that, like, if we were, Councilmember Mochler.
Thank you, President Goodnow. Not going to speak at length, just to thank all of the staff, everybody for doing such a good job explaining things to so many neophytes. Thank you.
Thank you, and we all wish you well as soon as you can, as soon as possible. So, yeah, so, on a couple of things on restrooms, the main thing is we got to find a safe way to do that. So public safety is going to start working on that. And to be honest, I would think if we can come up with a solution and there's a way to get it started sooner than later, I don't see why we would hold off. I'm sure we could get it started, but we have to find a solution. So we have to find probably a partner. We have to find some space and things like that. So, but it's a higher priority. Anyways, I think, yeah, I just want to echo what I feel like all the council members said, that thank, for finance department and all the department heads and the mayor for leading a good budget process. Sometimes people ask me what it's like being a council president. I said, well, the biggest problem is that this council leads from their heart. It's complicated, but we have to have a way to do something before we can necessarily fund it, right? And and we definitely pushed on some things. I think the administration is doing a great job, and they're always looking for different things to do. There's just one of those situations where nothing is ever as simple as you think it's going to be, right down to having somebody zoom in on a microphone. So, all right, seeing no further discussion, I will call for the question.
Councilmember Fry,
Yes.
Coughlin,
Yes.
Dennehy,
Yes.
Mochler,
Yes.
Younger, Chamberlain,
Yes.
Goodnow.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. This concludes public hearings. Next on the agenda is general business. General business item 7A, fifth addendum to the operating agreement with the Admiral Theater Foundation for operation of the Admiral Theater. Presenter is Financial Services Director Mike Riley.
Okay, and myself and Councilmember Coughlin will be recusing ourselves from this discussion.
I'm sorry, Councilmember Fry.
Well, I think that actually President Goodnow said that someone else was going to do this. So I breathed a sigh of relief that that quickly has disappeared. We're now considering the fifth addendum to the operating agreement with the Admiral Theater Foundation for the operation of the Admiral Theater. This is in addition, as you may remember, to the $90,000 contract agreement that we are in until 2040. And this is an extension of the additional $60,000 that has been awarded twice before now, and now this is up again. Can I go ahead and make a motion? No, Eric, I should have looked at Eric. Yeah. Open for discussion.
So thank you, Councilmember Fry. I got you here, sister. And so does any member of the public wish to comment on this item? The fifth addendum for the Admiral Theater Foundation for operation of the Admiral Theater. We're gonna go ahead and check the mic for you there. Thank you. And when the mic comes on, can you repeat your name and your title? Yes, thank you.
I'll just start over, shall I?
Sure, we'll start the timer over on you about that.
Okay.
We weren't.
I
keeping
won't use
time.
all that
We
time.
weren't keeping time. But thank you very
Okay,
much. No, you're
good.
good. Thank you.
So my name is Deborah Keene Bergeron, and I serve as Vice President on the Admiral Theater Foundation Board of Directors. I'm accompanied tonight by other board members, Liz Gross, Will Maupin, who is also a former council member and business owner, and our board chairwoman, Joanne Hazelwood, and Nate Murphy and Carl Kramer of the Admiral Theater. On behalf of the Admiral Theater and the entire board of directors, thank you for your hard work and support throughout this process. I know it wasn't easy on any of us, and we sincerely appreciate the council's full support of tonight's motion to adopt the fifth addendum to our operating agreement. We look forward to continuing our partnership in the years ahead, bringing top quality entertainment to our community, improving downtown, and attracting tourists to our beautiful city. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. King Bergeron. Did I say that correctly? Oh, good. Okay. Are there any other members of the public who would wish to comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, I go to the council for a motion.
I'd like to move to approve the fifth addendum to the operating agreement with Admiral Theater Foundation, extending the annual compensation of $150,000 through 2027, and authorize the mayor to finalize and execute the agreement with substantially the same terms and conditions as presented.
Thank you, Council. Oh, thank you, Councilmember Dennehy, and thank you, Councilmember Fry. And we have a motion and a second, and we are open for discussion. Councilmember Fry, would you like to lead us off?
I really appreciate the discussion that council has had regarding this contract and the extensions. As chair of LTAC and as a former professional working in Bremerton around tourism, I know that we all consider the Admiral Theater a gem in Bremerton and one that attracts many people to our beautiful city. And especially as a city-owned building, this is, I feel that this is, we're getting off easy with $150,000 a year. So I'd appreciate the support of council as we move forward with this addendum.
Thank you, Councilmember Fry. Councilmember Dennehy?
Thank you, Council Vice President. I just wanted to thank the board members who are here from the Admiral for showing up. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your comments. And like Councilmember Fry, I just really do believe that the Admiral is a real gem of the downtown corridor and brings in so much, so many tax dollars via small business input that as long as I'm on council, I'll be supporting it. So thanks so much for showing up and bringing it.
Thank you, Councilmember Dennehy. Is there any other comment? Okay, I just want to kind of final comments on it. Happy that we're going to go ahead and get this going. And this was also a learning opportunity. Thank you, Councilmember Younger, for bringing this up and showing us that there's, we need to make sure our I's are dotted and T's are crossed. So that if somebody does come and want to audit, that we can, have a clean bill of health for our city resources like this and our city funding. And with that, seeing no further discussion, I call for the question.
Councilmember Dennehy,
Yes.
Mochler,
Yes.
Younger,
Yes.
Chamberlain,
Yes.
Fry.
Yes.
Thank you. We have 5 yeses and 2 abstentions. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right.
Next item on the agenda is item 7B, resolution number 3355 in support of changes to the Washington State Ferries Restoration Plan. Presenter is Councilmember Coughlin.
All right, well, thank you, council. Just to recap for everybody who may not be familiar, I know we've all heard from the community for a long time now, frustration with Bremerton's one boat ferry service. And we've been extremely appreciative of the mayor's efforts and other county leaders to work with the state to try and fill the gaps in the ferry service. I've been meeting with the Bremerton Ferry Coalition for a few months. They're a group of local citizens, mostly meeting downtown, trying to address the concerns of the unreliable ferry service. And so with council support, I drafted this resolution and then took into account feedback at our last study session and made minor updates. So for folks at home, just some of the highlights is that it really, it explains the situation we're in with one boat service, with restoration not set to occur until late spring at a minimum, and just the impact it's had in our community. It really goes into the demographic difference between us and Bainbridge, which is the other city that has a direct connection to Seattle. We're about twice the size, but have half the household income and many more times a diverse population. The resolution strongly urges Washington State Ferries to amend their restoration plan to take into account equity as part of prioritization of routes, to really be more flexible with boat sharing, to kind of share the load among the routes, and so more quickly get Bremerton's reliability higher. And finally, echoing the mayor and others' efforts, asking states to redirect funding to fast ferries to fill the gaps in the Washington State Ferry schedule. And additionally, look at subsidizing some of the fast ferry fares, which are about 30% more expensive than the Washington State ferries, which some folks who have to commute or go to Seattle are having to pay from Bremerton. And so you have the edited resolution in front of you, council. And additionally, the packet includes all the data and the numbers that are in it, including US Census data, Washington State Ferries Restoration Plan, their monthly updates from March through October, and a compilation of the current ferry fares for Washington State and Kitsap Transit Fast Ferries. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Coughlin. Does any member of the public wish to comment on this item? Do we have anybody on Zoom? Okay. Seeing none, we will go to the council for a motion. Oh, there is one. Okay. Christy Lyson.
I just wanted to extend my appreciation to Jeff and the rest of the council for this resolution. I especially pinpointing the equity problem with the restoration plan. So I know it does. My husband has to use the ferry for work on a regular basis, and it's he has to be there very early, and it's just a big mess. So right now, many people count on the ferry to be able to work, who want to live in this community. So thank you very much. I appreciate your support in trying to resolve this issue.
Thank you. Are there any other public comment? Seeing none, we would go to the council for a motion.
I'd like to move to approve resolution number 3355 as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We're open for discussion. Vice President.
I am super appreciative to Councilmember Coughlin for putting this together. I think that, and I hope that it just goes in the stack along with all this other support that we have to, push that a little further into the forefront of the governor's vision, for what's important. I mean, we have a lot of folks who are really relying on this service in order to make a living, in order to survive. And with the unreliable service that we've had, it's not okay. So thank you very much, Councilmember Coughlin, for putting this together for us.
Councilmember Dennehy.
I also want to thank Councilmember Coughlin for taking up the charge. I know that there was a lot of community organizing by the Bremerton Ferry Coalition. I believe that's the name of the community group. So I really want to commend you for listening to community, having community drive that, and then using your institutional power to do that. I also want to commend you doing an excellent job of coming into a great racial equity of, not only do we have more members of more citizens than Bainbridge, but we have a disproportionate based on race and ethnicity. And it's really important that when we have, supposed progressives making these decisions, that they understand what the actual impact is and what they are doing by denying our citizens that service. So thank you very much.
All right, any other comments? Councilmember Younger.
Thank you. So I'm looking at this resolution, I'm in full support of it. I'm thinking going past, what do we do with resolutions? Usually it's a declaration by the council, hopefully unanimous. And it's usually something that affects directly in the community and something hopefully that we can do about it or make a policy statement like we did with the, for lack of better terms, welcoming everyone in the community. We had that a few weeks ago. This one's a little different animal, and I'm concerned that it may fall on deaf ears or may not even get delivered. So I'd like to focus on the process. So we are asking here in this resolution, we were saying we strongly urged on 6 different occasions and asking the governor and the Washington State Ferries, in particular in the Department of Transportation. Of course, they all report to the executive, who's the governor. So my suggestion is that if this passes, we send it to the mayor, to the governor's office via email with a response requested, also via certified mail, return receipt requested. I'm afraid it's going to fall on deaf ears, and I want to put them on record. I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of it. So on a personal level, my wife has. She's gonna be okay, but she's been suffering with cancer, and every time, every 3 weeks, she doesn't take the Bremerton route, does she? She goes up to Bainbridge. It's just terrible ferry service, and people's lives can be on the line, even their family life. You miss one boat, that's another hour and a half. They're not on the hour. We all know the ferry schedule. This community has put up with too much, I'll leave the expletive out, but for way too long on this issue. And we are just being treated like second-class citizens. So again, I'm hopeful, President, that Council President, that that will be done once this resolution is passed and it goes to the governor's office, and we kindly demand a response. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Coughlin.
Thank you, Councilmember Younger. I would fully support that idea as well. And I also want to commend the members of the Bremerton Ferry Coalition. I know they're also ready, if this passes, to take it and make some hay and get some attention on it. But I think that's an excellent idea to make sure it physically gets in the hands of the people it's addressing. Thank you.
Well, Councilmember Younger just has me thinking here. And I guess I'm curious, is there a way to, are we being discriminated against? And how do we follow up, with a larger organization with a claim? Is that something, and I'm curious kind of what the mayor thinks about that since you've been working on it. If there's a larger organization that we need to be filing with, and it's okay if you don't have the answer for that too.
Right. So, at this point, it's, you pointed out the data, and I think the data speaks for itself. And the governor's going to make a decision. And you're going to hear from the governor's office anyway. They're going to move forward. So we're going to get support. That'll be formalized very soon. So we're going to, I think what you're focusing on is also the actual marine highway, which we need that to get folks over there for their education, their doctor's appointments, or employment. So you need that part also. I think the data speaks for itself. There's no, I don't know of an avenue to file anything other than the we're all elected. We answer to the citizens who put us in office, and that's all the way up to the governor's office. So the data's out there.
I have one other question too. Do we know how our port commissioners fall on this issue?
They wrote a letter in support of my letter and request for regional support to backfill with fast ferries. So we have unanimous between Kitsap Economic Development Alliance, the Greater Kitsap Chamber of Commerce, the ports, every elected in this region, and 3 major unions. We have support. We're going, and we'll get it. We're going to get support for backfilling our state highway system, marine highway system with fast ferries. So,
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's all.
Councilmember Mochler.
Thank you. First, I'd really like to thank Councilor Coughlin for drafting this resolution in collaboration with the citizens. And I'd also like to thank Councilor Younger for declaring so forcefully that yes, keep the strong language. This is a matter of equity. Bremerton is considered a working class city by many, and on the bottom of many people's agenda. Secondly, I'd like to suggest that our state representatives for the 23rd and 26th LDs, which comprise Bremerton state representation, be urged to echo this resolution in their chamber once the session begins. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I don't see any further discussion. Again, I will say thank you to Councilmember Coughlin for pulling this together, and again, just including just some really great data that, as the mayor said, speaks for itself. And I think this means some great ideas to make sure that all the right people see this, and we assure it has, and we ask for a response. Seeing no further discussion, I call for the question.
Councilmember Dennehy,
Yes.
Mochler,
Yes.
Younger,
Yes.
Chamberlain,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Coughlin.
Yes.
Good now.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. Concludes general business.
Thank you. Up next, we have council reports. Since this is the last council meeting of the month, we will start with District 7, Councilmember Eric Younger.
Thank you. The only thing I have to say is to all Bremerton residents, happy Thanksgiving next week. I hope you get to enjoy it with your family and loved ones. We plan in the Younger household to do so. And I wish everyone, again, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Mochler.
Thank you. So now that the state of emergency is over, I'm resuming the district town halls I held back in 2019. So staff, could you put up the flyer, please? So it will be on December 12th from 4 to 6 p.m. There we go. At the Family Pancake House on Kitsap Way. Thank you to Public Works for Hillary Hamilton and Chris Smith, who are going to explain the Bremerton One app. I will update this again in December when we meet again. Thank you. More thanking. I am proud to have Patrick Cooper as a constituent. I agree with his letter to the Kitsap Sun recommending the county cease using the fairgrounds for gun sales. This is democracy at work. A citizen states a viewpoint. Others agree, disagree, or want to amend. the will of the people is made known to its representatives who reflect that will in their legislative decisions. Mr. Cooper's email to council against using the conference center for Guns House resulted in a change, and I thank Councilor Jeff Coughlin and Columbia Hospitality for their role in making that change happen. So more thanks. I'd like to thank this council for giving all of my asks a hearing during budget weeks. I did not get any of the things my constituents asked for, but at least I got a hearing. And that's all I want. It's what I deserve, and none of us deserves less. All of us deserve a hearing. I hope this council can take an hour, if not more, to consider how we can do better at this. Are we doing our best to represent the people of Bremerton and to provide oversight of city affairs? Can we do better at being accountable and transparent? Are we doing our best to make sure there are enough opportunities for people to provide meaningful input on city decisions? Are we all familiar with our own council's mechanisms for changing policy to better represent the people? I propose, I hope that this council can set aside an hour or two for such consideration in open public study session before the end of 2022. And in closing, it's really been a pleasure to work with all of you through this weeks of budget. I thank you very much for our mutual respect. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Councilmember Dennehy.
Thank you, Council President. I really thought the budget was going to take a lot longer, so I don't have a council report other than, like Councilmember Younger, happy Turkey Day to all. Enjoy your friends, enjoy your family, stay safe.
Thank you, Councilmember Coughlin.
I got a couple of quick slides, but while they load, just again, a big thank you to all for your support on the ferry resolution. It is incredibly appreciated. And yeah, big shout out just once again. It's a pleasure to work with you all on many things, but especially this long, complicated budget process. Thank you to you all, and thank you staff for putting up with all of us. All right, just a couple fun things here. I started to talk about the holiday season before we even through Thanksgiving, but we won't have our next general meeting until a couple weeks. So I want to remind folks downtown, you have Winterfest occurring on Friday and Saturday, December 2nd and 3rd. I believe we'll have the downtown tree lighting on that Saturday, the 3rd. And then next slide. In Manette on that Friday the 2nd, they'll also have a tree lighting in Santa. So if you want to see 2 Santas and 2 tree lightings, you can go back to back Friday, Saturday. And finally, last slide is the same Santa. This is a cool tradition. I think that's starting in Bremerton. We want folks to be aware. On Friday, December 2nd, Krampus will be visiting around downtown, I think really all through the month. It's a kind of a neat, fun new thing. So I'm excited to see it bring some joy to downtown. I know it doesn't look like it, but read up on the history. It's actually pretty cool.
I'm sorry, I feel like I've been living under a rock. What is this?
So Chris, yeah, let me. So Eric Morley in our community is the aficionado on Krampus, but it is kind of a European tradition, and it actually predates Santa Claus. But he's not like the evil Santa Claus, but he compliments Santa Claus. And if the kids are naughty, he does have a birch stick that he goes around with. But it's kind of a macabre. I'm not explaining it very well.
All right.
It's just fun. It's just
I'll
fun.
Google it. Thank you.
It's what I think it's from Austria. It's the we kind of say you'll get coal in your stocking or get nothing. They're like, you better be good, or Krampus is gonna.
Oh,
snatch you.
a Charlie Brown Christmas, sort of. You're telling me.
All right.
I'm done.
That it's
All right.
not, though. I actually heard it described today in a way. It's great for kids. Kids don't get scared, he said. And then he said, the adults get scared. Now, I don't know how that happens.
Well, you can keep going.
It's my turn. District 2. I happened to go to the Greater Kitsap Chamber of Commerce luncheon today. And one of the main reasons I went was to see our own Garrett Jackson giving a presentation on the comprehensive plan and how fun it would be to become involved. He did a great job. And this wasn't an award of any kind. Eric Baker over at the county, who was, his counterpart, had to leave the luncheon early and gave Garrett his raffle tickets. So Garrett is now in possession of a county snow shovel. And I think that it'll be a wonderful way in which to bring the county and the city even closer when you make that presentation to Eric Baker. So a lot of fun was had. I even think I heard, and Garrett, correct me if I'm wrong, Eric Baker seemed to imply that the urban growth zone coming up through Bremerton was not something that counties play a role in. It almost seemed like we might be closer to annexation than any of us thought as we try to build density. But again, on that stretch, I'm seeing single family homes. We got to do something and get in there with our great zoning around density along the transportation corridor. So thank you for that, Garrett. And we are members of the chamber. I want this to be in our city council office. Not every city council is a member of a chamber of commerce. And this year, I was really pleased. Thank you, President Goodnow, for authorizing the council, as the mayor is a member. And so the entire council is a member as a council, and you get the member rates at lunch, so keep that in mind. That's it for me.
Thank you. Vice President Chamberlain.
Oh, thank you, President Goodnow. We did it. We passed the budget, right? We don't have any more meetings coming up this year for the budget. It's just smooth sailing, right? For the rest of the year, there's nothing else, no controversies, nothing else, right? We'll see about that. But either way, I feel, I've been part of some not really well-functioning groups and some very well-functioning groups. And I have very much appreciated being a member of this council and working together. We work towards consensus. We bring a lot of different ideas to the table, and in the end, we've stayed remarkably united in our decision making, and that's precious. That's very valuable to me, and so thank you for listening to each other and considering all the different matters that we have before us. I've had a beautiful week this week. I don't know if y'all have been able to get any sunshine in your eyes, but it's been beautiful. And I had a chance to take a few different walks with some folks over at my very favorite park, Lions Park. My jogging route is down Lebo, and then I cut over by the boat launch and go in front. Hopefully it's low tide, cut along the beach, and then go all the way around the rocks, which I think we're allowed to do that. Hopefully we are, because I do. And then right up to the other landing up there where the gazebo park is. And it's a full mile loop. That's what that is for me. I've taken a couple walks with some folks too and had some really great conversations. But really been able to take in, different migrating animals and fowl that are coming through our region. And of course, the Canadian geese are here right now. They spend their time here. But also we had some loons. I did not know that loons migrated here. My friend Sarah that I'm on a committee with, and we were walking, and she noticed the loons. And so I just want to encourage folks to just go out there and be by the water and take advantage of all the parks we have and the beautiful spaces we have on the waterfront, whether it's with your family or not. Some folks, you might, not everybody has family to be with on Thanksgiving. And I want to also encourage folks to just extend kindness to everybody. that they can. You don't know what people are going through in their own lives and their own battles or what have you. Extend kindness during this time. It's cold. Some people are lonely, and do what you can to support the causes in our city that are supporting some of these vulnerable folks. I was mentioned that the Island Hut crew is taking turkeys. I know the Food Line always accepts donations. I know that the rescue mission is doing a hat drive. There's all kinds of things you can be a part of. Do what you can. You can't give money, give your time, give your extra fabric, give your yarn, whatever. Find some way to be a part of and part of the solution. Thank you.
Thank you. It's interesting. We have a lot to be grateful for. There's a lot of gratitude expressed as we again roll into the Thanksgiving holiday. It's been a pleasure to gel as a council and get some things accomplished. And there's still lots ahead, and there's still lots that cause us some anguish and anxiety. We wish we could solve everything, but yeah, I'm grateful to have this group that is really genuinely concerned with the well-being of everyone who calls Bremerton home. So one more time to echo happy Thanksgiving, and there will be no council meetings for the next 2 Wednesdays due to council's regular meeting schedule. The next council meeting will be held here on the first floor meeting chambers on Wednesday, December 7th, beginning at 5:30 p.m. There will be a remote option. This concludes tonight's regular council business. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Good night.
Okay, that was the city council meeting for November 16th, 2022. The budget has been passed. Thank you for taking that journey with us. My hope with broadcasting these meetings here is so that you are informed, that you have a better understanding how our local government works. As you can see, our avocation, coming together in the last, the fourth Wednesday of October to advocate for those bathrooms, made it through. And not only was it pushed through, but many on the council spoke tonight. And I want to thank Jennifer Chamberlain, Councilwoman Chamberlain, for asking the question for all on, hey, can we amend that budget into the next year and get more money, more funding to keep those bathrooms in place? And it looks like that is a yes, right? We must push. We must push. And this is why we show up. I typed that in the chat earlier, and you can see that conversation of showing up every other Wednesday, making that public comment, inviting a space for them to come together and meet. We saw movement, right? We saw movement. So we just need to continue to press forward on this issue and others. There is power in numbers. And so when your voice is heard, things change. And we think about those that stand in opposition to us, whoever us is and whoever the opposition is. But it always seems that people that have the opposite view of what we're advocating for seem to be tireless. They always show up, they always show out, they always got a lot to say, and they've got the numbers, right? That's what we have to do. That's what we can do. That's what we did. That's what we will continue to do. And here we've only been covering city council for the last few months. But now we're together. Now we're getting organized. Now it's not one voice, it's not two, it's a collective. And we can continue to push not only for the unhoused, but push for, as Corey was asking, to advocate for affordable housing, right? And unfortunately, Corey, there was no other option for public comments. I couldn't ask that question there. But we can push for more. We can push for our children. We can push for safety. We can push for jobs. We can push for housing. We can push for what's important. And what I'd really like to see is that you run. You run for city council. Have the temerity, have the audacity, have the unmitigated gall to be the person that creates the budget, that forms policy, that shapes the city. Run for commissioner. Run the county. And you ask why? Why not you? Why not you? So I hope you stand encouraged. Again, I want to thank everyone of the Pancake Warriors who will come up with a name that is a little bit more fitting. But when we say pancakes, people know that's every fourth Wednesday at New Horizon Ministries. All are welcome. 4040 Wheaton Way, Suite 203. That's coming up this next Wednesday, next week, 11 a.m. Gather Together, Grow Together provides free pancakes, hash browns, and sausage, coffee, etc., etc. Come, share what you have going on, bring folks with you, meet other people, and let's change this community. Let's change this city to what we want it to be. We can do that. And with your help, we can actually make this change. All right. I will be back on here in a couple hours if nothing changes. People are looking for me to talk about the Black Panther movie. And I got some things to say, and they're not great. So anyway, thank you all for tuning in to the City Council meeting. I am Marwan Cameron. This is The Conduit. We will see you next time. Good night, everyone.